Hello. Oop, I didn't erase that. Hello, hello, hello. Hang on, let me grab a rag to erase the thing. Uh, Ray, hello, welcome. You're first. Congert. Uh, the potato candies went over well. There was definitely some hesitancy, some trepidation when I described what they were. But in the end, upon the tasting, they went quite well. I do have quite a few of them left. Um, there was a lot of other potato stuff there. It was a very potato forward evening, afternoon, evening. Um, but yeah, it was a good time. I'll definitely make those again. I definitely learned a bunch, and there's an easier way to accomplish what I accomplished than the way I did it, for sure. Uh, a stand mixer would be really helpful for that because then you could add things a bit at a time, and when it starts to seize up, you can actually just stop it. Um, Hi, Saucelies. Yes, we had a surprise Saturday stream. Surprise! I didn't announce it. I just did. I was like, I'm making this. I'm making it today regardless. Fire up the stream, which I should do more often when I make weird things. Honestly, because I'm always in this room anyways. The one hitch is I need to remember to charge my uh, mic pack beforehand. But hi. I'm not muted for me. Oh, I didn't change the title. Dang it. It's been a dang it. Annoying. That'll be why Saucely said Secret Saturday. Um, yeah, my mic's not muted. If everybody else can hear me, then it must be on your end. Um, Thank you, Bookwoman. Hi. Uh, Hello, everyone. So, yeah. The impetus for today, two things. One, there were leeks in the dollar bin. They're a little on the sad side, but there's three of them. So whatever else we trim off, there should be plenty to go around. I like leeks. Leeks are good. Um, the other thing was discounted again, salmon. Um, it wasn't use it or lose it. It wasn't short dated for the day I bought it. It's good through Friday, Thursday. Uh, and I got it on the weekend. So like, I don't know why they're clearing it. I got a couple of them because there were more than one. And they were like these nice little single serve. Well, I suppose I'm gonna split it, but there were these little these nice little sized ones. Yeah, I think somebody goofed. So I got a couple of them. I'm going to. I think I'm going to split the extra ones and freeze the into little single serve pieces. Um, we're going to use one of these today. I'm not sure which one. If I slide over here. What I can see of this one is they squared off this end, which means they trimmed away the like thin flappy bit, which is unfortunate because the thin flappy bit is delicious. But based on how the rest of them looked, because I picked through them, because there was a whole stack of them there. Based on how they looked, these were particularly fatty salmon, so the flap at the bottom was like, well, like this one. Super white. And I bet you somebody thought that that didn't look very good and trimmed it off. So we should probably use this one, because that thin flap, that's the belly. It's where the when it's a whole fish, the bottom where it comes together underneath the middle of the fish, it's the fattiest part. And if you just get a whole fillet and you trim that bit off, like I would trim that bit off too, but then I would eat it. I would fry it up like a piece of bacon and cook it. Anyways, yeah, no, actually I got 3 of these at this kind of price because, yeah, it was a really good price for salmon. It's cheaper than beef. Remember when I remember when back in my day. So we're eating that piece of fish today. Again, it's not it's discounted, but it's not short dated. It's good for the rest of the week, so it's going to be a nice fresh piece of fish. Leeks are a little bit worse for wear. We'll trim those down. And yeah, I ended up. I've called this a gratin. I don't know that we're actually going to gratinate. I could make a leek and cheese tart. I actually have some cheese as well, which I want to use. Oh, I keep forgetting to use this. So we should use that. It's meant to be like a spread, and it does not work very well as a spread, but it's got a good flavor. It was, as you can see, very steeply discounted. But I want to make a. I don't have any crusts, so a tart would be difficult because we have to make our own crust from scratch, which I'm not prepared to do today. What I want to do is a baked dish in this thing. With the leek, the fish, which I kind of want to nestle. So it has an exposed surface that can get a little bit of direct heat from the oven. We're going to bake it. Because it's a very, very, I don't know where you are. I don't know how it is where you are, but it is very cold today. It is going to be very cold all week. My computer currently says we are at 0, which is literally the highest it has listed all day. And that's 0 in the old Fahrenheit. Switch to Celsius. -18 has been the high. Today. Which is dramatic and unpleasant. So I would like to run the oven to help, bleed over some heat into the rest of the house. So I intend to run the oven today. A tart would be a good idea, though, if I had a crust. Yeah, so I've also got some potatoes. We've still got some potatoes. I don't know if I want to do a leek and potato. That would be very hearty. You got up to 2. See, mine crept up over the course of the day, and then just before the sun went down, it said it was at -1. I don't necessarily believe it. I don't actually have a thermometer. I'm using the internet feed for it, so I don't have my own thermometer to check. I could have gone out my car. My car would have told me. But yeah, real cold. It's going to be real cold. Gosh, what is it going to be? Uh, the one I'm most scared of is Friday with a forecasted high of -10 Fahrenheit, which is again a high temperature of -23 Celsius. Um, when the high temperature is in a serious minus, it's cold. I'm not looking forward to that day. That day is going to be difficult. Yeah, I one year I had some plumbing freezing issues, and I went and shored up the insulation around it. So hopefully I don't have to deal with that anymore. I will, of course, monitor the situation. But boy, yeah, not looking forward to that. That's going to be quite the time. Yeah, we're going to have to start the car periodically to make sure it doesn't seize up as well. It should be fine. Actually, didn't go anywhere today, so let's get these guys out of here. Because they're looking a little sad. We have to trim up the sad bits. There with that one. Fill the gas tank. I'm going to fill the gas tank on Wednesday. No. God, it should be tomorrow. Just to short up. But I was thinking Wednesday because it's the warmest day because I don't want to stand out by the pump. And I also have a space heater for the room that I spend actual time in, so I don't have to run the furnace. Furnace has been running pretty hard today already. So I'm taking one layer off and just sacrificing it. Even though the bottom part looked okay, it's the easiest way to take off that gnarly looking leaf. All the way up. We will dust away some of that dirt. We're gonna have to give these an actual like rinse out. I should get a bowl as well. So how is everyone? I saw some of you just 2 days ago, but I haven't seen some of you in a week. So how's it going? What's up? If you missed it, if you're new here, no, if you missed it, I did a surprise stream on Saturday, unannounced. So sorry about that. So if you've never had leeks before, you do generally always want to cut them like this. You don't have to cut them necessarily in half and do the crescents, but you do really need to cut them across like this because the fibers that run lengthwise are a little tough, and you would rather have the knife break those up than your teeth. Leeks are also one of the vegetables that's very easy to grow and regrow. When we get them, much like when we get green onions, and we get them obviously pulled out of the ground with the roots on the one end. If you grow them yourself, you could just cut them off at ground level or dig a little ways in, but like leave the bottom and the top will grow back. And you can actually eat the top parts too. People don't because they're kind of tough, but you totally can. You just have to cook them longer. And we cut them this way anyways. Oh, dang it. That just, that just glanced off the edge of the compost bucket and went hurtling into the back corner of the room. There, that's a much nicer cut. Also, I hate how leeks are always described in recipes. White and light green parts only. I mean, yeah, but really what you mean is below the part where it fans out. That's what really they mean. And also, it's kind of wasteful. See, this is another one where I want to pull one of these off. Gives us a little bit more height. Cut that right there. Also, and I cut the first one wrong. They're not perfectly circular on the inside. They're flat one way. And you want to cut them perpendicular to that because it makes it much easier to split them in half. The first one I did wrong. I don't know if you could see me struggling with it, but I could see me struggling with it. Okay, I'm putting these all in a big bowl so that I can put water in that big bowl so that I can rinse away the grit. Because leeks have a bad habit of picking up grit that gets in between the layers. Some of what got on our cutting board. I can feel it when I run my hand over it. The slight sand texture. Now these bits we could use. I'm going to toss out the ones that are extra gnarly. We could use if we wanted, but I don't think I'm going to this time. You can also save those and do them like a stock or something with them. I think we're going to say no this time because they are looking a little bit extra gnarly. Get a nice fresh leek and those things look pretty good. Get the sand off my... So that is our finished leek. You can see a little bit of dirt right there. We'll just rinse those off with cold water. You can do it in a colander. I'm not doing it in a colander. I just put them in a bowl and I'm just swishing them around. And then when it comes to cooking, I will just fish them out. The grit, because they float, and bits of sand sink. So it's pretty much all you have to do is put them in a bowl. Get myself back to my screen where I can see chat if anyone's talking. And we will start cooking them. We should start... We'll start with the garlic, actually. We've got 2 of these from that one head of garlic that completely fell apart. So we're going to use those today. They have continued to try to sprout a little bit. So we're just going to take the nubbins off. Smash, 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 and whoa, some of the slices stuck to the back of the knife where I could not see them. Okay, and that is our garlic. Garlic. I also could put onion in this, but I feel like we're going to have enough alliums between the garlic and the leek that we don't need onion as well. The question is, do I do potato? And if so, how do we do potato? Garlic. Right. Do a hybrid style with a potato gratin. Gratin. What do you think? Potatoes? No potatoes. Potatoes? No potatoes. Potatoes? No potatoes. Potatoes? No potatoes. Ashley wants tots. Well, a gratin doesn't have to have potatoes. I should get these guys out of this bag. I think the bag is going to be bad for them. I do have a Taco John's in town. I don't think I'm going to take a drive with you guys to do that. But it could have been an option. I actually don't really like Taco John's, except for the potato olays. I think their tacos are underwhelming. Not bad, just underwhelming. Underwhelming to the point of, since I have to go there to get them, I don't feel like going there to get them. If I were to just happen to be there, if I stumbled upon a Taco John's, then sure, they're fine. But it's not the kind of place I'm going to go out of my way for. Except for the potato olays, which are fabulous. One of, if not the, best side dish in the fast food game. Just like fantastic. Give me some KFC with some potato olays on the side. Never seen a Taco John's. You know, they're a fast food taco place. Potato olays are essentially flattened tater tots with some kind of seasoning on them. Because they're flatter than tater tots, they're way crispier, which is a huge benefit to them. And then the seasoning is just, I think it's just garlic salt. It doesn't seem to have any like spices in it. It's got to be something more than just, there's probably black pepper in it. But it's really basic, but man, does it work. Just like real good. And yeah, the tacos are fine. Place is kind of expensive for a fast food place as well. Given the market competition they're in with Taco Bell, being expensive isn't, you know, the best. If we're doing potatoes, we are doing them with the beast here, the creature. Whoa, 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 what's all this? What's all this? Who are you people? How did you get in here? Jen, 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 humans. Oh my God, my face. Bring my face. Hi, Jen. Let me shout out Jen. Oh, I forgot the underscore. Hi, Raiders. Hi, humans. Welcome in. Welcome. I'm Jovial. What were you guys up to today? We are making this salmon leek gratin because we had leeks in the bargain bin and we got discount salmon that's not expiring. And I was just cajoled into adding potatoes to whatever it is I'm deciding to make. I should preheat the oven. Which is what the mandolin's for, because we're going to thinly slice the potatoes. What were you guys up to? You were playing Silksong. I have not played Silksong. I've also not played the first one except for like the first part. So probably should play the first one first. But welcome in. Hi. Good to see you. See who all came with. Jen, obviously. Cortex. Monster Mustachio. That's a good name. And Web Tomato. Yeah, we just got out the mandolin, and then I realized that I should whack these guys in half this way to make them easier to mandolin. And if you've never seen a mandolin before, that is a razor blade. Which results in that. That one's a little bit too thick. We're going to crank the blade down one notch. Yeah, that's about what I want. I don't want them like paper thin. That's the worst thing that happens. Something gets caught in the spikes. The next piece should knock it through. Yeah, okay. Yeah. On the regular blade, it's not too bad. On the serrated blades, this thing is horrifying. It's not quite as scary as the pink peeler. Where are you, pink peeler? You always scare me because I lose you, and you have tiny, tiny razor blades all along your edge. Ooh, I don't know where it went. I'm gonna reach in here and cut myself someday. But yeah. Oop. And that results in pile of potato. A little bit of a hole in that. Ooh, ooh! Well, I guess that one had a little bit of a rotten core. I'm going to take those ones with that little rotten brown spot and just pitch them. And I guess I'll grab one of the small potatoes and add just a little bit to shore up our numbers. Uh, 130 miles. Well, like I said, they're definitely not worth going out of your way for a meal. If you're passing by, try the potato olaise. But I guess we're going to peel up one more potato. Well, the potatoes will make this a full meal without having to add anything to it, so I guess that's a good idea. Otherwise, we're missing a base starch and would have to serve this with something like potatoes, but on the side. The potato should make this a one-pot meal. bring this back. So yeah, thank you so much for the raid. I really do big appreciate it. If you are new here, this is what I do primarily. It is cook. I cook on the twitch.tv. Typically Mondays. I did a surprise stream this past Saturday and said at the time I should do more surprise streams. So, you know, that might happen. Those of you who are already here, check out Jen. They don't do food content over there, but I hang out with the gaming and the costumes, makeup, crafty things. Gonna give the potatoes a little bit of a rinse. Same reason as the leek. Okay, so I think because I want the potato, or I want the salmon to be sort of nestled in the middle of this dish. I think I'm going to try to get the potato to just be a ring. When I put it in there, so then the feel makeup and costuming. I don't know how to do makeup, so it would be a learn from absolute scratch, which could be fun, but sure sounds stressful for me. And also, I don't own any of it, so I'd have to buy makeup. Likewise, costume. Same basic problem. I do want to do some arts and crafts stuff sometimes. There's one that I want to do that is a bit of a logistical problem. Because it's so big. I've got a dinosaur I want to paint. He's very big. That would be a fun, like, chill, just crafty thing. We need a pan, because we need to cook down the leek. And garlic. Big pan. We're going to slide us over there. We're going to start this pan. I guess we're going to put in the big pan. So more butter than I usually go with. We're buttering it up. Doesn't look like a lot in that big pan, but okay, get to melting. Garlic, leek, potato, salmon. Garlic, leek, potato, salmon, breadcrumbs, spices. While that is getting started, let's pull out some spices, because otherwise you're just watching butter melt, which is almost as much fun as watching paint dry. nutmeg. My mortar and pestle is wet from having just been washed. I do have a reference up on the side. Theirs doesn't look quite how I want mine to look. Milk, flour, nutmeg, mustard, salmon, breadcrumbs, parmesan, cheese, of course. We still have some Gruyere, and we also have some Parmesan. That would be good additions, I think. We're leaning into like some European flavors here. I just washed that one too. This grinder. The crank grinder, because all the other grinders are currently having a time. Gotta open new containers of things. Here we have, for some reason, fully shrink-wrapped jar. White pepper. Throw in half a teaspoon of that. Throw in, I like the idea of mustard. We're going to throw in some mustard. Partly because I like the idea of it, and also because I happen to have quite a bit of it. So, half a teaspoon of mustard seed. And the nutmeg is going to be grated by hand, because I don't think the burrs will grab it. I think it's too big. Okay, we're all empty there, and we're coarse. We're fairly coarse on that end. I think I am going to, this is dried out, I'm going to give it a once over. Chili Crispies on the salmon. I don't think so this time, because I think we're leaning, I think based on what the flavors I'm working with, we're leaning into sort of a European flavor profile here. While I was distracted, our butter almost finished melting. So, the leeks need to go in. And like I said, the leeks float, the grit sinks. So all we really need to do is lift them off the top. After we've swished them around, but lift them off the top, let the water drain out, although it doesn't need to be bone dry, because they're going to kind of stew in their own juices. And at the bottom of your pot, there should be just some slightly sandy water down there. I'm not going to bother fishing out the few little bits that are left. And that bowl should also just need a quick rinse rather than a full scrub down. Also trying to not make it quite as massive of a mess. I made the mess on Saturday. The mess I made on Saturday was one for the ages. That cocoa powder got everywhere. Okay, that and we used unsalted butter for this. I didn't call it out, but I definitely want unsalted butter because I want to add salt to the leek to help them soften up, because we want them to be cooked until they're borderline melting. You can go back and check out Saturday. It was a time. It sure was a time. Ultimately a success, but also I could have done better. So those are going to get rolling. And I put the VOD on YouTube. I always put my VODs on YouTube. I don't really recommend my YouTube channel because it is literally just an archive of this nonsense. And as you can see, there's no on-screen chat, so you'll catch me talking to people who aren't there. Okay. That we need to grate our nutmeg. We're going to grate that into this. I really like nutmeg and absolutely do not use it often enough. It's a really good spice. I do have the product of our Saturday excursion over there. Some of them came home. Actually, quite a few of them came home. People said they were good, but then they didn't eat a ton of them. Mace. I think it actually would. I don't have any mace. But I think it actually would go well here. Do I want to try clove? I don't think I want clove. White pepper, mustard, nutmeg. Ooh, this is already ground, so it's going to be pretty weak, but we're going to add just a smidge of cardamom. I think that's a flavor I want here. It's a pre-ground, so it's going to be less punchy than the all the fresh ground ones I just threw in there. The white pepper is going to help preserve. So, my understanding of the reason to use white pepper, because white pepper and black pepper are the same thing. They're processed differently. Unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about that, tell me. But that is what I've always heard, is that white pepper and black pepper are the same plant. They're just processed differently following harvest. And the main reason to use white pepper is so that you don't have little black flecks in the finished dish. Also, white pepper is a stronger slightly stronger spice and less of a complex flavor. So it gives you more of the pepperiness and less of the like pepper flavor. That's my understanding. This is actually the first time I've ever had whole white pepper, so I guess I'll find out. Actually, 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 why don't we do a taste side-by-side taste test? We need to wait for the leeks to sweat out a little bit more. So, a white pepper. A white pepper. And that's not black pepper. That one's thyme. A black pepper. So if you're ever wondering what a spice tastes like, this is how you find out. You take it, you put it in your mouth, and you crunch on it. Okay. Black pepper, sharp piquancy, nice complexity. Oh, biting into a whole one is a whole uncooked one is quite a punch. Quite a punch. Mm. Mm. Zingy. Mm. Let that one subside before I bite into the next one so we can get a fair comparison. Why is my internet being a nightmare right now? White ones are soaked to remove the skin. Soaking causes them to be less harsh. Oh, I had it backwards. Well, white. It was definitely softer. And yeah, it has less of a. It does. It has a less pronounced pepper flavor to it. Actually, it has almost no flavor. It has a less pronounced, less sharp, peppery bite to it. Interesting. So it's backwards. So I was backwards. I was correct that they were from the same plant, but I was backwards in terms of white pepper is milder in flavor and in spice. Oh, it's building up on me though. It still definitely has a. It's not making me go like the first one did. Okay. You know what? Sometimes that's how you learn. Sometimes. For minor things like that, it's valuable to learn your own experience. For major things that are challenging and difficult, that someone else has already done, maybe just read about somebody else who already did them. Okay, so black pepper's got more of a to it. Okay. In that case, I might add some black pepper at the end on the top. Because I think the little black specks on the top look great. You guys are over on this side. Over on this side, the leeks are softening quite a bit. What I was looking up, and I guess I'm going to ask you guys and admit that I don't know what I'm doing with this. Do I put potatoes in raw? Here, yeah, you put the potatoes in raw and you bake them. That's how you make the gratinated potato. Okay. I had to check. I had to look that one up. That's one of those ones, like I just said, something someone else has already done. Just read about what they did. So we're going to do that. Over here on this side. I don't do a lot of sort of European cooking. The cooking of my people. White people. Because I think what I want to do is run these guys around the outside like this. And then have the piece of fish sort of nestle right in that middle spot. Right? We should grease that before we do it, because otherwise these will just glue themselves on there. But that's the concept. And then they'll need to bake. Four potatoes, but I'm not filling the dish. I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be just right. Sorry, I've got a recipe just for potato gratin up from the Pioneer Woman on the side here. We need to butter that. I think we've used the Pioneer Woman before. Some of these sites come up repeatedly. Ugh. We're going to wipe the water out of there first, because it repels the butter. So what's everybody else having for dinner? I didn't ask earlier. I didn't ask for the raid either. That should have been the first thing I asked. What are you having for dinner? Because I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Let's see. I'm kind of faking this whole cream, flour, garlic, cheese. Mix together the cream, flour, garlic, salt, pepper, cheese on top. Okay, no, that makes sense. We are going to not follow that recipe. We are instead going to use these leeks over here. Pan is drying out, so we will throw in our garlic. The pan drying out is a sign that the leeks have given up all the moisture that they are going to. We do not want them to start to burn, or even really to brown. We just wanted them to be very soft. Garlic until fragrant. Our dry spices. And the thing that makes everything delicious. Far too much cream. 1 1/2. And I noticed as I was putting in the 1 1/2, there's not much left in there, so the remainder. Not enough left to do with, so it's gone. Trez! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's Cybertrez. Hang on. I gotta find the thing. Meow. Trez, how's it going? What's up? Hello. We're sure making a thing. I don't know if it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a thing. I have deprecated my own cooking many times, and you know what? I think this one's going to be delicious. I'm going to go out right on a limb and say this one is going to be fantabulous. How's it going? How's it going, Traz? Traz streams. Traz does games. 13 hours of public transit. Traz has adorable emotes. Subscribe to Traz for adorable emotes. I think I'm going to take the heat off of that to avoid it doing anything untoward. How much? They wanted a little bit of, well, they wanted just flour, not corn. Non-corn flour. I can do, presumably to help this set into a dish at the end. you throw the scoops. Okay, you actually want to be fully off the heat. We're going to stir in the flour. And that one also wanted half a cup of milk. So probably the extra cream is going to just give us a creamier thing, hopefully. But we definitely want the flour to all be hydrated. We don't want any dry lumps in here, and we don't want to overwork either. Okay. That coil is still hot. I'm using the, let's see, start with the potatoes, add the cream mixture, add more potatoes, add more cream, add more potatoes, finish with cream. But we're building ours around this piece of fish. Put away my tower of flour, the flour tower. My big concern is going to be that the fish will cook faster than the potatoes. Because they need to be in there for quite some time in order to actually soften the potatoes and get everything gratinated. So I think we start with a layer of potato. Just shingled as you would. We can always add more potato if I end up thinking I need more. We always have the option of just slicing some more potato. What I want is for the fish to fully ride up. There in the middle. The skin still has scales on it. The skin still has scales on it. We could, but there's going to be like a soupy... That's actually a pretty good idea. Okay, yeah, now that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow the directions here. We're going to add some of our Leek and cream mixture cover us over. Okay. We might need one more tater. But I'm going to build out the side. We're building a little fortress of potatoes and leeks. Yeah, I definitely need more potato. Okay, okay. We can do that. Mandolin is still handy. I just need a small one. I just need a small one, which is easy. I've got a small one. Let's set that aside. Small ones are, of course, a little bit trickier to peel because there's less places to put your fingers. And we're going to do that guy as a whole piece on the mandolin instead of cutting it in half. Which means we lose just a little nubbin off the end, but that's fine. Oh, that's potato browning. I wonder, when did I get salmon on there? No, that's the potato. Because the shreds that were caught are so fine, they're browning very quickly. Okay. I ended up with a little bit more than I needed. But that's fine. I will just simply make the top layer more tightly shingled. Discard a little bit. Okay. Okay. I think this is going to be fine. Once again, layer us up. using all of the remainder of the mixture here. And if you weren't doing the fish thing, I would just do this part and then not bother with the well in the middle. Don't know how well it... you can kind of see it from the top. I don't want to waste deliciousness, so we're going to scrape it down with a spatula. And also because I need a little bit more of it there, and a little bit more of it there. Okay. My one big concern is that the stuff will sag toward the middle as it cooks, or even just right now. We do have a fitted lid for this dish, because you're supposed to cover and bake, and then remove the cover and bake. And I think that we will remove the cover, nestle that piece of fish in there, and then go back to bake. Put some foil in the center just to preserve the shape of the fish. That is also a good idea. Possibly. I don't think we have any acidic ingredients in there that will interact with the foil. That would be my one concern. If I Makes sense? I would not want to put parchment paper in there. This stuff is too wet for parchment paper. Parchment would definitely cause trouble here. I don't think there's anything acidic in here that's going to react with the aluminum. I'm going to do a quick Google on this. Acidity. Cursory research says no, don't do this. Because it is immersed in the food, even just a salted... What I want is like a brick. A brick! Oil touching food. Cooking. Sorry, I'm just doing some reading before I poison myself. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like I said, what I want is a brick or like a piece of glass that's that size and shape. What else have I got? Cookie cutters. That's too big. That's too big. What I would need is like one of these. One of these, that's the next size down. Because glass is definitely A-OK safe. I don't think I trust the aluminum. I would have to do more research. It sounds like having it immersed like this is going to be a problem. If it was just on the top, it'd be okay. I am going to go ahead with just putting it in as is and hope. Oh, I got some on the floor. That's going to be the solution. I'm going to go in there as is, and then I'm going to probably go in with a spatula and try to push it aside a little bit, because I anticipate that the liquidy part is going to try to slump toward the middle. The potatoes should be okay. The liquidy part's going to try to slump toward the middle. So we might just have to be kind of forceful with our nestling. But this has got to get in the oven. We can experiment with shaped things later. Because we've got to get that baking, because I think we're going to be pushing our time out on the other end of this. We have other things to prep while that's baking, which is good. Let me clean up the detritus a bit. We'll keep the spatula handy so that if I do need to push it around, I've got an already primed spatula. Like I said, this is the Pyrex baking glass. Half of that is just about perfect size. So I guess I'll keep an eye out for little glass trays of different sizes. Or like one of those, a butter dish, but a European shaped butter dish. Because American ones are long and... Actually, it's too narrow. But I've got a glass butter dish. I don't know. What we need to do here is deskin that fish, because I don't feel like eating scales today. Oof. That knife is having a little bit of a tough time. There we go. Oh no, it didn't. What have you done? Knife. Why? Why have you done this? No, don't do that. This knife's not sharp enough is the problem. Okay, fine. We're doing it this way because then I can see what I'm doing as I cut into it. But I mean, I got it, but that was bleh. We missed just a tiny bit of the membrane on this side. We can eat that part though, if we want. I should have checked it for scales before I started all this. I could have scaled it at the beginning. Scaling is a mess, and I didn't really want to make a mess right now. I'm not sure why sometimes because I get these from the same store. Sometimes they're scaled, sometimes they're not. I'm not sure what the difference is. But there. I'm going to go ahead and give that a rinse because it's got some loose scales on it. Oh, and I should have gotten a paper towel ready right away because we also want to dry it. Should I eat the fish skin? I'm not bothering with these little scrappy bits. Those can just go in the trash. If you fry it real hard, the scales become almost edible. I'm going to say I don't feel like dealing with the scales, so it's in the trash. It's unfortunate, but we only lost a little bit of the skin. I will remember for the next one that they are scales on, because I hate that they're already sectioned into little slices with the scales on, because it's way easier to scale a fish when it's still a fish than it is these little individual fillet pieces. This is just me getting some of that surface water off because I rinsed off the detritus here. Should have moved him out of the way. No, we've done scaling here before, and it's good because you get to eat your fish skin without scales on it, but it's a freaking mess. Scales go everywhere. Let's see. Nutmeg away. Put a few things away. We're going to need the breadcrumb, the cheese, the mortar, pestle can go away. The garlic flavored butter can go away. The little bowl can go away. We can get out our favorite box grater. And grate some cheese. And what cheese are we using today? Gruyere. Why? Because I've got it handy, and it's delicious. I've been getting Gruyere like this. End cuts. They're in a bin. They're not like, they're cheaper than the squared off pieces, and it's because they come in these kind of irregular chunks, and they are literally, quite literally, the ends of the cheeses. And it's not just Gruyere. There's a whole bunch of them in that. Just a mixed thing of end cuts. It's the ends, because when you get a nice squared off piece of cheese, it probably wasn't nice and squared off when they made it, and they had to cut the bits off the ends to make it nice and square. And that's what these are. And my local woodman started carrying them, and you know what? They're good, because they taste exactly like cheese. They taste exactly like the cheese that they are, but they're cheaper. We are grating Gruyere and some Parmesan to put, sorry, I said that wrong. Parmesan to put on the top. Also, the last thing you said when we were talking about trying to shape the get a shape for the fish, mini bread pan. I have looked for a mini bread pan because I want to make mini breads that are actually loaf shaped, and I cannot find one. I have not found one. I want to make more tiny bread. The problem I have with bread in general is that I don't use a whole loaf of bread before it goes off. I do not eat that much bread. I want to bake like a little loaf, a little halfy loaf, like this big. I'm willing to divide the dough and like freeze a chunk of dough, but I need a container to make a little bread. And I've looked and failed. Oop. Gently pull this away, so because it is trying to stick, and I don't want it to. A little bit of salmon blood, or is that me blood? Nope, that's not me blood. Tiny bit of salmon blood in my salmon. Oh. I did not set a timer, but I did look at the stream timer when I put that in. And then we're going to use this grater for the Parmesan. I think this one gives us too fine of a grate for the purposes of this, but I want thin shreds still. So I have, over time, accumulated microplanes of just ever so slightly differently sized blades. This is the one you've no doubt seen me use the most. It's good for zesting. I use it for grating hard things like nutmeg, cinnamon. We use it to absolutely pulverize garlic into a fine paste, even finer than the smasher thing can do. We use it to grate ginger. This is definitely the most used one because it just results in powders and pastes. And for cheese, it gives you really feathery, fine shreds that melt in an instant. This one is the one I actually have ended up using most for Parmesan when I put it on top of pasta since getting it. I used to use this one and the stuff would just disappear. It would melt in and it would disappear. This gives us just a bit bigger shreds. I'm going to go on a tirade about, not a tirade, an aside about cheese shredding. Bear with me while I talk about grating cheeses. This fine feathery stuff. Because it's not just about the size of the holes, it's about the angle of the blades. This stuff is tasty. And you get a lot of surface area, so you get a lot of cheese flavor. But the fact that it's so thin means it melts in an instant. You end up with kind of like a cheese web. On top of your pasta instead of grated cheese. Oop. And it has a habit of doing exactly what it just did, clinging to the blades because they are so feathery and fine. They don't really have enough weight to pull themselves away. This guy similar fine shreds, but you can see that they're much sturdier. They're more opaque because they're slightly thicker. They'll still melt in the heat, but they hold up a little bit longer as a topping cheese. And that's why that grater has ended up being my new favorite for that. Cheese. This one, I kind of hate the handle, and I kind of love the handle. The handle is on a folding hinge. I think the idea is that you could do that and grate along the side. I don't really like this one for cheese. It gives you much too large pieces for a hard cheese, and it's too, the holes are too small for a soft cheese like Gruyere. In that case, I want the rounded cutters from the box grater where you can slide through very easily. These little squared off ones, they catch. They catch a lot. That grater is good for shredding carrots. Or like a medium cheese, like a firm cheddar, like a hard cheddar. We're not going to put the Parmesan through that one right now. I don't want to wash that one. And then this one is only ever so slightly bigger than that last one. This one is very good at like shredding a carrot, shredding a daikon. The holes are almost the same size, but the angles of the blades are higher, so it gives you bigger pieces. The blades are razor freaking sharp on this one. So things like, you can grate a carrot in here, it'll be fine. There are things that this guy will struggle with because they're too hard. This thing, I'm not afraid of cutting myself on this. I'll run my hands over the blades. I have cut myself on this. These are very, very sharp blades. They're good for like, well, shredding hard things. Honestly, I have used this one for cheeses. Its blades don't stick the way the medium one does. So if you want like big shreds of a harder cheese, that one. That is what she said, isosceles. Who are we talking about? Hoomst. That was a way to burn some of our time while I was talking to you. That's the grater we're using today. Oop, there's a potato caught in my mandolin. Unfortunately, we ended up with a bake, which is nice for the house. Makes everything nice and warm. In the old house. Oh, I need that bag. But, kinda... kind of the stream isn't as exciting when I'm baking something. I know it. You don't have to pretend this is exciting fun times with Jovial waiting for a thing to bake. Take this opportunity to tidy up. Nobody ever told me what they were having for dinner tonight. Not a one. It's so sad that you're all going hungry this evening. Especially since you're watching me cook food. It's gonna make people are always complaining about how hungry they get. Chica. Well, I'm glad one of you is eating. So I don't know specifically what chicken tikka. I am assuming chicken tikka masala. But like said as a one thing, which sounds delicious. We are at 20 minutes. I'm supposed to give it 30 minutes before I take the lid off. My lid is clear, though. I can peek. Ooh. Our middle is still got a depression in it, so that's a good sign. Our food is still slightly depressed, which is a good sign. That's what we want to see. Am I going to put a little bit of butter on top of the salmon? Am I going to put a little bit of butter on top of the salmon? I have time to think about it. I have time to think about that. We'll put clean dishes away so that I can clean the new dishes and end up with a clean kitchen. I only just cleaned the remainders from Saturday today. I'm real bad at keeping up with stuff. We should also think about a plate. We got a lot of time to think about a plate. This would also be the time when concocting a side salad. That's the question. Am I going to put any of that garlic butter on the salmon? The problem is that stuff was designed to be a spread. You noticed it. It's not very spread-like. That was the problem. It's not very spread-like. It's just like butter. It's firm like butter. We could heat it up. We could heat up a little bit of it and brush it over the top. That might be fun. I would want to do that after I had it nestled in, though. That's no doubt why it's discounted. People didn't like it because it didn't do the thing where it wanted to do. I mean, honestly, it doesn't say it's a spread. It just said it's garlic butter, which it is, with Parmesan and basil. And I can't heat it in there, but I could heat it in a one of these. It just hit negative 0.1 on the old tempo probe. Oof. Mine says -3. I've lost 3 since we started. It tastes nice. We're going to melt that. Over there. That burner is not on, but that corner gets quite warm when the oven is running. And I think that will be enough heat to melt that by the time we need it, or at least soften it by the time we need it. There it is, just sitting on an off burner, melting very slowly. Well, take care of yourself, isosceles. Don't go out if you don't have to. The cold is deadly. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's the thing. Let's see. Close. We are merely waiting. We have less than 4 minutes. 4 minutes remaining on part 1 of the bake. And then, something will happen. It occurs to me that it's going to be really hard to serve this in a way that looks like anything. Yeah, I'm going to microwave the butter. I'm going to microwave butter. Two minutes. Dawn of the second day. Dawn of the final day. So this is what this stuff does, and I knew it does this. When you melt it, because there's cheese in it, a little bit of cheese in it for flavor, the cheese kind of separates. What we're going to do is pour that over the top of the salmon after I nestle it in. Then we're going to hit the whole shebang with our cheeses. A little bit of fresh black pepper and the breadcrumbs. Oh, by the way, there's breadcrumbs. Half a minute remains, and you know what? I'm not waiting half a minute. We're taking it out, and we're going to start doing the thing. We're going to see what we're working with. Our middle has gone a wee bit soupy. Our middle has gone a wee bit soupy. Whole thing is bubbling away. But it did, in fact, maintain shape. It maintained shape without needing to do anything special to it. So my concerns were not founded. The potatoes gave us enough structure as they were. Which is good. I kind of want to take a picture of this like this. Or at least before I put it in the oven again. The breadcrumbs covering up the salmon makes it look a little bit less striking. Still gonna take a photo quick. And into the oven it goes, uncovered. Yes. For another 20 minutes, or until the salmon is fully cooked and delicious. Bob. Hi. Well, you're not wrong. I just put it in the oven for the second time. So, it's kind of like you just like we just started. How's it going, Bob? What's for dinner? We have decided, a hybridized thing. It is a salmon, leek, and potato gratin with a cream sauce and a Gruyere Parmesan topping stuff. Modding. I'm gonna eat the rest of this cheese. Well, I've achieved the goal of this not being a colossal mess. What kind of streamer needs a moderator? Sounds like they've put together a real bad community over there. They need somebody slapping the kids and telling them to shape up. Nah, I kid. Really, I'm fortunate to have not needed the services of a moderator really since my first month or so. I did have some creeps come in and we had to run them off. But honestly, you guys are cool. We're kind of in a loose moment at the moment. I mean, I've been in plenty of streams as a viewer where there was definitely a need for moderation. So I fully understand it. I've just been very fortunate. But yeah, we've got another, I mean, it was 20 minutes 3 minutes ago, so 17 minutes. Or until the salmon is done, because that's the most important bit. I could wash dishes. I don't really have any new gadgetry to show off. I did a spiel about graters. What do you guys want to talk about? Anything at all? Time for the song and dance portion? Uh, the HMS Pinafore. Sure. Kick us off. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I have the gadget I showed off on Saturday for people who weren't here on Saturday. I got a chinois. I got a chinois with the fitted dowel and the support brace. For like smashing up your stuff. Yes, Ryu gets it. Ryu is on point. I don't know. We're in a. I mean, the thing that actually is exciting right now. Here. Let me go off on a complete tangent. Let me flip that so I have a clean fishless surface to work on. Let's go off on a complete left turn into one of my other interests that we just never touch on the channel here. Magic the Gathering cards. I went to a pre-release for the new set, and I got just the most absurd. I know you guys don't care, or maybe you do. My kit gave me these 6 rares. That's 2 copies of Maryland, Fey Ascendant, 2 copies of Gloom Ripper, a Wistfulness, and an Oko. Which kind of just said, man, you gotta play this one deck. So I did. It didn't do super well. The deck was great, but I kept running out of mana. You guys care at all about Magic? I'm really excited for this. I've been really excited for this set. It's like back to how Magic used to be. They've been a mess lately. I've been really down on it lately. They've been doing a terrible job, in my opinion. And I'm really excited about this one. So I was really happy. I actually got to go out and do an event. I got some really good cards out of it. I'm going to have fun. Clearly, you guys don't care about Magic because I just lost some viewers. Some people just left. Should I make a side? We have our starch, our vegetable, and our meat taken care of. A fresh salad, a little fresh salad on the side would be... Sure, let's do that. It's got very dark in the front. Oop, and my little butter lettuce needs some water anyways. I got one of these little butter lettuces with the roots on, and I put him in a cup of water. And he drank all of his water. Problem I have with lettuce is I usually don't go through it very well. So I thought, I'll get one of these things. Keep it with some water. Let it sit in my window. And maybe get just enough off of him for a little salad every once in a while. Put him back in the window. I'm not going to plant him now, but I have also considered like actually planting him in soil, because they come with roots. So you should, in theory, be able to just put him in dirt and have him root, right? There, little salad. Ooh, I got cocoa powder on all of those plates. Oh, gross. Well, I guess I have more dishes to do because I have to wash this whole stack of plates because they got cocoa powder on them. Not this one, though. I mean, if we're doing that, then pickled red onion and a olive oil vinaigrette, right? That's the kind of salad I like. Simple. Olive oil, balsamico, and I always forget how the proportions for a balsamic or for a vinaigrette. Yeah. Be more basic recipes. 3-1 in favor of oil. Gotcha. Easy as. We only have a little salad, so we only need a little dressing. I need to get some real balsamic vinegar at some point and play with that. It's only like $100 a bottle. That stuff is doing something in there. And just a dab of mustard. And I do not have it Dijon, but I have a Dusseldorf, and that's like the Dijon of Germany. And I am adding to it some dry oregano, just a smidge of salt. Yeah, that's it. I was gonna add pepper, and then I just like, no, let's not. Tiny whisk it together. The mustard. Mustard is a natural emulsifier. Not a very strong one, but you don't need a very strong one. It helps pull the vinegar into the oil. And it won't hold it forever, but it'll hold it long enough to like do a thing with it. And then these are my pickled red onions, which I'm just going to throw a couple of them in the salad greens. Have a little fresh crunch of salad on the side. Which honestly, good idea. Something acidic, something crunchy, something fresh, something herbaceous. A little bit of parsley might be good in there, actually. Because we have a lot of heavy, greasy, not greasy, but fatty fattiness, fatty fat going on in the main thing. And this will give us, pulling some parsley. Flavor balance, also some visual variation for the plate. Okay, now, just a really rough chop on that. And one sprig kept aside to be decorative. I don't need the board. What are we plating this on? Shut up, Martha Stewart. The thing says 3 minutes left. I did take a peek. The salmon looks pretty much done. The sides, where I mounded up the cheese, have transformed themselves. But I think as soon as it's done, I'm going to pull it and let it rest a little bit. What plate am I plating this platily? I think we're going to have some soupy sauce to deal with. We're looking at a lot of white. So a dark plate. I'm inclined to go for the olive trim today. We don't use it very often, but I think the fish will look quite nice with the white sauce and the potatoes. Although that does not give me a really good spot to put my side salad. The side salad might just end up living in this make a cocktail. I don't know a lot of cocktails. I could definitely make the one that I know, though. think those have been in there a little bit too long. I think those have been in there just a smidge too long. They're not proper pickles, so they can't live in there forever. They're very salty and vinegary, so they keep a while, but not forever. The salad's going to serve its purpose more than look nice. We're at 20 minutes, so I'm going to pull... Oh. I'm going to put the quinoa back away so that I don't have to climb over it 5 more times. But we're going to pull it. We're going to get it meowed. Ooh, that was perfect. The sides have kind of settled in. So the sides around the outside there, when I peeked earlier, had poofed up. And they weren't browned very much. But now they've settled in and developed some brown. Where did I put the phone? The phone of taking photograph. It smells buttery. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's pooling butter around the edge of the salmon. This white blob is definitely protein from the salmon that cooked out. It doesn't look as bad as it does when you like pan fry it, but it's not the prettiest add-on. This is going to look better if I do it on the actual camera station, so it has to rest anyways, so we have the time to take a fancy glamour shot here. I want to take a picture of it in the thing because I am modestly concerned that there's no way to get a clean piece out. If I was serving this to a group, I would take it to the table like this. For presentation, and then serve it out to the individual plates. But we ain't doing that today, so I think the way I want to get it out of there is to split the salmon and take half of that piece out onto the plate with some potatoes. Using this thing, because it's got a very thin edge, and I should be able to, right in the middle of that, right along the center line of the salmon where it naturally wants to break. I didn't actually done this probe with my potatoes. Oh, but the knife glides through them, so they are done. They are done. And the bubbling has stopped, and that pool of oil has receded a bit. I don't know how long I should wait. And I don't want to wait super long because I'm hungry. I hunger. So, split that right where it naturally splits. Get it out of there. The secret, Bob, is that I make disgusting food and lie to you about it. I make food that looks good, but just like the picture on the board at McDonald's, gross, inedible, full of glue. That is boiling hot still. Oh. Whoa, it held. It held as a big old piece. Look at that. I got like a slice out of it. I'm heckin' impressed. Clean, clean the plate. And you know what? There's room for that salad to be right there. So, I guess I will add some side salad, which looks way nicer than on this little plate. One of these stupid little parsley things. Slightly freshen up our black pep there. Not on that one. I'm impressed that came out in like a piece. I did not expect it to come out in a piece. The salad should be at the back, but we are going to mess this up. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. You want the salad to be at the back, I think, in plating. I threw the scooper in there already. Darn. A piece of crusty bread would be good. As mentioned before, I would like to make more small breads and lack the capacity. I'm going to add a little bit of this stuff here. I think I want that hole filled with something. My God. My God, I just tasted it off of that spoon. And, oh, oh. Guys, this might be the worst one I've ever made. You all should leave now and let me eat the whole thing to save you from it. Mm. Well, because I wanted to take the photo from this end, and the salmon is cut on this side, so the other side doesn't look as good for the camera. Sometimes I do stupid things solely for the plating. So I've already now previewed it by licking the spoon, but let's do the official taste. Starting with the most important part, the side salad. Butter lettuce, very tender. Little herbaceous hit from the fresh parsley in there. Slightly oiled, slightly acidic. It needs the firmer crunch of the pickled red onion to balance it out a little bit. What's that brown spot back there? And that's it. That's all we're doing today. No. We're doing the salmon next. Are we? No, we're breaking into this part. We're breaking into this part because I think I want the salmon with some of this. They're hot. Oh, they're hot. It's extremely rich. It is a very cream forward. The cheese, the browned cheese, has given it a nice little sort of crunchy texture. The potatoes are melt in your mouth soft. But they still apparently have enough structure to pull out neat, even slices, which is insane to me. That's one there. And it just melts in your mouth, just disintegrates. The flavor of potato and leek and nutmeg all come through. The cheese just kind of adds to the richness. The grated on top gives us some texture. It didn't really shot through it, so most of it is honestly kind of just a. It's just rich. I think if I didn't have the salmon, I would have included some more cheese throughout the mix, not just on top. But what I think we're going to hit here is, oh, the bottom of the salmon soaked up some of our juice. That, I think, is our prime bite. The salmon, I mean, it broke along a flake there. It flakes readily. It's tender, it's juicy. Honestly, it probably could have come out 5 minutes earlier and been just fine. The salmon, I mean. This benefited from being in there just a little bit longer for the top browning. The salmon could have come out like 5 minutes early. But it gives another dimension of the richness to the rest of this. It really elevates both of them. They're very hot. I think the best part is at the very bottom. And I think part of that is the butter that I put on top of the salmon, and also the salmon fat itself rendering down into the bottom of the potatoes and elevating that part even more. The part at the top, so it gives you different bits. The parts at the top are a little bit less rich because I think that infiltration of butter down to the bottom. Which means I think this dish would benefit from more butter. As rich and insane as it already is, I don't think we're at the apex for it. I think you could richen this up with more butter. I think the flavoring in the garlic butter spread kind of gets lost with what else I've going on in here, because it's, again, got some cheese, got some garlic, got some herbs. Dried herbs got lost in all the richness. And we added fresh cheese and fresh garlic. But the butter part itself, because it's also salted, I think salted butter on top, possibly like sprinkled across the top, like if you shredded some butter into little flakes and sprinkled that across the top during the first part, pre-adding the salmon. I'm just trying to figure. You don't want it to become so buttery that it turns into a soup. I really like that it actually like comes out in a nice piece. The potatoes and the flour definitely help with that. But this bit right at the bottom that got that extra butter soaked into it is just magical. I would not do this type of service with any protein other than a piece of fish. I don't think it is in there long enough for any of the slow braises. I mean, I suppose if you started... No, it wouldn't be in there long enough for any of the slow cooked pieces of like beef. And I think beef would be too heavy of a flavor. It would disrupt the delicate richness. Like, it's rich, but it's not like a heavy flavor. It's a lighter flavor with this richness through it. Gosh. I mean, potato gratin, even without the leeks in the fish, is just great. Like, I don't think I'm noticing the cardamom. I think that just vanished. The nutmeg works. If anything, I would increase the nutmeg by about the amount of cardamom I added, because nutmeg really works in a sort of rich, fatty dish like this. But yeah, I think any other meat that you put in that spot would either not cook properly or be ruined by being immersed like this. I think a piece of fish is the only thing that cooks quickly and can be benefited from this sort of immersion. If you did it with chicken, you'd have to monitor it to make sure that it cooked through clean. And like I said, if you cooked a beef or pork, I think they wouldn't be in there long enough for the long cook ones, and then be in there too long for the slow cook or for the short cook ones. I'm trying to think of ways to criticize my dish because I don't like saying that I've made a perfect dish, but I honestly wouldn't change anything. I would make this exactly the same way we just made it, but again, and enjoy it immensely. um, yeah, it has to be fish, and I would not change a damn thing. You could experiment with other kinds of. I used russets, but damn, damn, I made a good thing. Dang it, guys! I made a good thing. Um, yeah, 10 out of 10, no notes. 10 out of 10, no notes. Perfect. Like even the things I said would be like extra. Doesn't need him. Honestly, doesn't need him. I will not be sous videing any type of porn, Bob. You would want a thick enough piece that it wouldn't like disappear. So, like salmon is a nice sort of a nice thick piece. You want some kind of fish that's that nice thick piece. You know what would work? You know what would work? You know what would work? Monkfish. Here's the other half of our monkfish. I froze it. I vacuumed and froze it. Um, um, monkfish would work. You could do it. I bet you could do it with big scallops. Like nestle a little grid of them in the middle there. Then they would also look like sliced potato, and you'd be real clever about it. Looking at what else I got. I've got some scallops, so I thought of those. I think you want a fatty. You want something with some firmness to it. You don't want something that's just going to disintegrate. So cod, like one of those cod loin things. Those are not sort of nice thick pieces. A bonefish, yeah. If you sous vide some pork and then nestled it in there, well, then you'd have the problem is you want to just run through this with a fork. So you want something that just like breaks. So you could do that with other kinds of meat, but they would have to be like mega tenderized. I don't know. I think this wants fish. Dang it! It's great. No, it's absolutely great. I love it. You're right. Stop talking myself down. I knocked it out of the park. This is fabulous. It's also great for the cold day I've got. We're pushing 2 3/4 hours. So I should wrap this up so I can eat this. Oops. Sorry, we're not just starting. Because went a little bit long. Who's on? Who's that? Earth Toast is in the shower. Chef JT is making nachos. Well, you can always go back and look at the early bits. We talked about graters for a little while. I washed some leeks. It didn't make a colossal mess. Like this was a good day. Everything went to plan. The result is great, and I don't have a colossal mess. This is a good day. Um, um, where are we going? Chef's not on today. Jay, 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 Jay. What are you doing? 21 months. I don't even have the thing open. I can't look at you. 21 months. Joel, Ray's getting the reg messages ready. Thank you so much, Jay. Yeah, salmon is my favorite fish. Of the ones that I can like get normal, on the regular. Watch for it on discount. That's what I can say. The prices have kind of gone crazy on it, but I had a problem. My dad and I liked to make fish when my mom was away because she hated the smell of cooking fish. So I understand that as well. I don't have that issue at the moment. But I get it. That definitely grew up in that same situation. Of you can't make a piece of fish. These I got fresh at the Festival Foods, the other grocery store in town. On here, actually, I bought more than one because they were on discount. They came like this. They're reduced, but they're not short dated. They're good through the end of this week. I don't know why they're discounted. I honestly don't. They're just like nice, fresh pieces of salmon that they want to get rid of. And they're the perfect little sizes too. I bought 3 of them, and I'm going to. I'm eating the one today. I'm probably going to eat another one this week while they're still fresh. But yeah, like perfect little sized things. Yeah, no, it was great. I honestly don't understand why they're being discounted because they are the perfect little pieces. Well, I'm probably going to split those lengthwise and use them as like a topper for noodles or rice. I didn't know that before. Salted salmon. Where are we raiding? Where are we raiding? Thanks, Jay, for the sub. This smells great. It smelled like fresh fish. Like again, they have a date on them, and the date is the end of this week. So they're just good pieces of fish, marked down. Salmon tacos. Salmon tacos are a good idea. I've got tortillas. Um, I gotta poke in at some streams and see how people are doing. Back to browse. Let's go raid Earth Toast in the shower. This is gonna be a shock to the system, I think. She's in the shower, fully dressed, tasting things. I think this was a challenge. I think this was like a bits challenge or something. Normally she cooks. Unless you wanted to go see some games. But yeah, that's I guess where we're going. So let's all go say hi. It's a thing. It's a thing, and it caught my eye, and we're gonna go check it out. Yeah. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting. I always love talking to you guys. This, I cannot take full credit. I did kind of rip a recipe for the potato part. This is a 10 out of 10. This one was great. Make this one. Even without the fish, it's great. I'll see you next time.